When I say the word retirement and you think about your retirement, what are some of the top activities that pop into mind? Some super common ones is I want to travel. I want to spend time with my grandkids. Oh, I'll finally have time to work on my golf game or spend more time fishing. And I just want to caution you, I've been a financial advisor for over 2 decades. I've worked with hundreds of families. And when I ask that question to clients, if I get what I call these default answers, and these are all great answers, but they tend to be the default answers. And I encourage my clients to think deeper and really we work together to think about, what do they want to do in retirement? What does that mean for them? And for most people, the journey is about 100 hours of work. The journey to be prepared mentally for retirement. The difference between being well prepared mentally for retirement and not is really a matter of 100 hours of work, oftentimes less. And I just want to encourage you to think about doing that work, to doing some exercises. I'll share a few of these here with you. One of the first ones I like to ask is, if you knew you were going to live to 100 years old, what would you do differently? What would you do in retirement? Another question is, what is your next, right? You've worked for 20, 30, 40 years. What's your next purpose? What's your next passion? Another good question to ponder, and I actually suggest people write a letter to themselves on that, and that is, what would your 80-year-old self reflect back on and say, I'm really glad I did this when I was younger? Write a letter to yourself and really say, think about it from an 80-year-old's perspective. These are the things that I'm super glad that I did. These are the things that maybe I didn't do, I chose not to do, but here's why I didn't do it. And really think about minimizing, for me, and we're all different. This is not necessarily advice for you. In fact, it's not, right? This is not financial advice. I don't know your situation. But these are some things that I've seen be helpful for other people. That letter to yourself from the 80-year-old version of yourself is super powerful. You think about it, you've made a lot of decisions and a lot of sacrifices in your younger years to prepare yourself and to have your retirement situation or your current situation. So it's always a balance between current you and future you. And that letter from your 80-year-old self can be super powerful. The next thing I want you to think about is, what's your passion? What can you do as you think about, I'll move away from the landscaping, they're doing some weed whacking behind me. The next thing I want you to think about is, what can you do in retirement that maybe you weren't able to do before you retired, right? What is that passion that you can pursue? And then, purpose. Purpose is so important in retirement. And what is your purpose? And what's the most important things in your life right now? Studies have shown relationships are super critical. If you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, for most of us, that's a big part of our life and a big part of our purpose. We've worked hard, we've sacrificed to raise young adults, and hopefully those young adults are bringing you joy. But maybe outside of your family, what's your purpose? Again, spending time with the grandkids is a default answer. It's a great answer. I just want you to think deeper and widen that plate of alternatives, because I think the more choices you have, to an extent, the better decision that you're going to make for you and your family. And I think our model for retirement in the United States and really worldwide is really outdated. The whole idea of retirement came about when people were living 5 more years until they died, and then 10, and then now it's 30 years. Many of us have 30 years plus to think about in retirement. Now, there's a difference between lifespan and health span, and I really want you to do what you can to increase that health span. It can be challenging some mornings to get up and go to the gym, but I think it pays big dividends, so I want to encourage you to do that. But our retirement model for 5 and 10 years, where you're going to rest. You do a lifetime of work, then you have, 3 to 5 years where you're resting and spending time with family, and then frankly dying. That's what the old model used to be. And over the last 5 or 6 decades, that's changed dramatically, in part thanks to advances in healthcare and medication and healthcare treatments. But most of us can look forward to 20 or 30 years plus in retirement. That's a long time. And so, what's your purpose going to be? How do you want to spend that significant time? Playing is fun for a couple years, but do you want to play full time for 20 years? A lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But think about, what is your purpose outside of play? And for many people, they found that lifelong learning is something that they enjoy, maybe an encore career. Multiple studies that have shown that one of the key factors of happiness in retirement is having a sense of purpose. In fact, I would go so far as to say, the old adage that our kids spell love, T-I-M-E. I would say that retirees spell happiness, P-U-R-P-O-S-E, purpose. So really thinking about, what does retirement mean to you? What are you going to be able to do now? What's the thing that's going to put a skip in your step and get you up in the morning whistling and excited for the day? I think it's super important that we all think about what that is for ourselves. Again, there is no right or wrong. This is your life and what it means to you. And for instance, for me, what does retirement mean for me? And, this isn't about me. But if it's helpful for you, for me, it's about relationships. It's about having adventures. It's about finding my next purpose. This YouTube channel is part of that purpose. One of the things I found as a financial advisor is this transition from a working career that you've done for 20, 30, 40 years into retirement can be very disruptive, and people need a guide. Having help like this, there's not a lot of this on YouTube. And yes, families that are working with a fee-only financial advisor can get this help and should be getting this help. But I think we all deserve this help. So, this YouTube channel is part of my service, and I hope it's doing that. On that topic, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. As the kids say, subs for likes. And thumbs for likes and subs for love, and then comments for a soul. I really do enjoy reading your comments. But for me, freedom and retirement, and sorry for this high-end whistling. I can't show it to you. It's a drone whizzing by. I'm not quite sure why a drone's whizzing by me. Maybe this recording of video is super interesting. But for me, freedom to me, retirement when the time comes is having the freedom and the flexibility to do what I want, where I want, when I want, and with whom I want. So, I've given a fair amount of thought to that for me. I'm fortunate. I've worked with hundreds of families. And so when I'm helping them with their exercises, you just can't help but reflect on your own life as well. Hopefully this video has helped you reflect on your life. If you enjoy this video, I know you're going to enjoy this video up here that talks about average income for retirees in the United States, and this video down here that talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.